Hello, and let's talk about assignment number 2. So you had a chance to view Ruha Benjamin's TED Talk, and now what you're going to do is imagine her TED Talk is like a ball of yarn, and you're trying to find a thread, a piece of that yarn that you want to pull on, that you want to then go do some research of your own. Obviously, the overarching topic of her TED Talk is technology, but there are other interesting things that you could choose to focus on. And as long as there is enough credible research for you to do an essay, you're good. Now, I'm going to take a look at the assignment because really what you're doing is a research proposal, which, think of proposal, you're doing some preliminary research to tell me, hey, Mr. Ruoff, I've got a topic and there's enough out there that I can write an essay. So this is a good preliminary step so that you're not wasting your time where you pick a topic and then it's like, oh, turn in a rough draft. Well, what if you kind of hit a brick wall? You're not able to find enough credible, because that's the key word, is credible. You build your credibility on the credibility of your sources. So are there enough sources that are valid, accurate, trustworthy in order to build the foundation and your credibility for your essay? So the first thing you're going to do is write the topic that you're exploring. So be specific. Develop a tentative thesis, and you're going to work your way through. I'm not going through each one like a line by line item, but the most important thing that I want you to pay attention to is analyze a scholarly source. Sometimes students get confused about the difference between a scholarly and a popular source. Now, you go to Cincinnati State, you have access to Cincinnati State's online library. Cincinnati State's online library provides credible sources. And one of the good things about it is that you can trust them. So when you go to Cincinnati State's online library, what I want you to try to find is a journal article from a credible source. And if you do that, it's actually helpful to you because you're going to have to put it in MLA format. And the library does something that's really great. So when you pull up your article, number one, you can pull up the PDF and you can save it. So that's yours. You can have it, look at it, annotate it, look for quotes that you want to insert and use as evidence in your essay. But on the right-hand side of your screen, if you click on the link to the article, it gives you some of the bibliographic information. And on the right-hand side, you'll see that it says cite. And if you click on cite, C-I-T-E, it gives you every way that you could possibly cite it for a college class. There's APA, there's MLA, there's Chicago Style Manual. There are all kinds of different ones. You're concerned with MLA, and we're in 9th edition. So there's been 9 editions of MLA, Modern Language Association. And it will give you the source correctly formatted in MLA, and you just copy and paste it. Some things to look out for, though, when you copy it and then paste it, make sure the italics are italics. Because if you use something from an online database, just to give you a simplified version of it, let's say you find an article by one author and it comes from English Journal. English Journal is something that I read when I was in graduate school, finishing up my classes. So let's say it's by Tim Ruoff. So I'm going to put the author's name, last name first, first name last. So Ruoff, Tim. Let's say the article and then a period. And then the article's title is Best Practices in the English Classroom. Title it. Capitalize it correctly, put it in quotation marks because it's the title of an article, and then it's English Journal. So English Journal, italicized, and then there's usually a volume, a number, a year, and then a page range. So it might be volume 5, VOL period 5, number, NO period 6, comma, maybe it's from 2017, comma, and there's a page range because this is a PDF with standard pagination, which means when I quote, I can give the page number. It's not a random website on the internet where I try to, even like the New York Times, I try to print something on the New York Times, depending on the font, the way of the margins set up, there's not standard pagination. Page 1 for me might not be page 1 for you because I have bigger font and it actually goes on to page 2, whatever. So these are PDFs with standard pagination. So it might be PP dot, so pages, PP dot 95 to 106, period. And then it comes from EBSCOhost, EBSCO, capital letters, HOST, lowercase. I italicize that, and then I either give the web address or the DOI, period. That's how you do it. And so then if I would quote from that, I would give the quotation, and then it would be Ruoff 100. If it was from page 100, just Ruoff in parentheses, Ruoff space, and then the number 100 in parentheses. These are the things that you're trying to learn in this class. So if it seems a little daunting, help yourself out and, kill two birds with one stone. Go to the online library at Cincinnati State and find a credible source that will be credible because it's in the online library, and then click on it, save the PDF, and then click on it to bring up the bibliographic record, look in the right-hand column, click on Cite, go to MLA, copy and paste that, and make sure you have stuff italicized correctly, like English journal, so the title of the journal, and EBSCOhost, the title of the online database. And then for the other one, analyze a popular source. That just means maybe I go to the New York Times, the Washington Post, maybe I find something on the Atlantic, maybe Time Magazine, maybe I find a site or a source, something from... trying to think. Outside of, oh yeah, what is it called? It's through Berkeley. Greater Good Science Center. So maybe I find something through a site like that. So there are a lot of different ways that you can cite information. It just means you're not going through, if it's a popular source, you're not going through an institutional database, because unless you are attending the University of Cincinnati or Cincinnati State or another college like that, you're not really going to have access unless you go through the public library's website in order to get access to these online databases. So popular source just means not popular in terms of like millions of people are reading them, but popular in terms of like there is a general public that has access to these and a general audience. But that's it. So that will show me that you at least have two sources, that you have found a scholarly source, and that you have found a source that's more in the popular realm, the general public realm. And that you're ready to go. So shoot me an email if you have any questions or concerns. I think what I'm going to do is put on the class announcements page a list of ways that, or examples of different ways you can format different sources. Because that's really, people sometimes get overwhelmed with research writing, but it's basically you're learning a format to take a sort of like, what if it's a YouTube video? What if it's a TED Talk? What if it's a page on a website like the Greater Good Science Center or WebMD? What if it is a excerpt? What if I want to quote somebody inside, like somebody who was quoted inside the article, stuff like that. So it's just getting used to the different contingencies, the different things that you might come across, so that you feel comfortable enough that you can find the information so that you can format it correctly. All right. So I look forward to seeing your work this week, and, start thinking about what thread you want to pull. What would be, if you don't like writing, then it would be, what's the least painful thing that you could write about that's been talked about or at least alluded to in Ruha Benjamin's TED Talk? And even if you like writing, it's just like, what kind of angle do you want to go at this? And it's going to be an argument, so your thesis has to take a side. So we know issues aren't 100% black and white. So You're not necessarily saying, it's not like technology good, technology bad. Yeah, there are good things about technology. There are bad things about technology. Pick a side, and then every good argument has an anticipating counter arguments paragraph. That's where you acknowledge, you make a concession. You're not going to say the internet is terrible and no one should be on the internet because, fill in the blank. People are going to use the internet. But what you might say is the internet is bad for these reasons. Make a concession about why there are some good things, and then make a statement about what people can do about it, right? So if there's some aspect of technology that's bad, how do you fix it? Not step away from technology, all technology bad. I acknowledge that it's really convenient to take a class online. I will say it's really convenient to be able to FaceTime with a family member that lives in Maine. But there are also some aspects of technology that are not good. Case in point, the impact that social media has on people's sense of self-esteem. That doesn't mean everyone stay off online. That means, okay, what am I going to put in my essay? So I have the negative, I make a concession about some of the positives, and then I have a plan, or I have an outline, or I've done some research, and research has shown if you fill in the blank, that helps. So as a parent, I could keep my daughter off social media until she's at this age. If I am a psychologist, these are the steps that I'm putting forward to help people mitigate some of the, negatives when it comes to body image and body shaming online. So that's how you would accommodate those things. And so your thesis needs to provide a roadmap to that. So don't say there are good things and bad things. No, this is what's bad about the internet or about technology, and this is the plan and how to get past that or rectify it or fix it. All right. So like I said, shoot me an email if you have any questions, and I look forward to reading your proposals.